A measure making its way through the California State Senate, AB 957, could jeopardize parents' rights over their own children. If they don't affirm the minor child's selected gender identity. Now, failure to affirm under this measure could be seen as child abuse. California Senate hearing for the bill began about an hour ago. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Greg Burt, Director of Capital Engagement at the California Family Council. Greg, welcome to Washington Watch.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tony.
So give us the latest on this bill, where it stands, and what is proposed under this measure.
Yeah, this bill has already made it through the Assembly, and so now it's in the Senate Judiciary Committee as we speak. They're having a debate on it right now, and this bill, what it particularly does, it's telling a family court judge that protecting the health, the safety, and welfare of a child, it requires a parent to affirm a child's gender identity, which is self-determined, and it means any age. We're talking about 3-year-olds, toddlers, young kids who play make-believe. A parent will be required to affirm whatever gender identity they come up with. And if they don't, they could lose custody of their kids.
Now, this, as it started out, was to deal with custody battles, correct?
Yes, we're dealing with a family court, and the bill was recently changed to be more alarming, because what it did is it said that your health, your safety, and the welfare of a child is going to be put in jeopardy if a parent doesn't affirm. Now, those are the same words that are used in child abuse law, right? So even though this is dealing with custody, once you establish that not affirming is going to threaten health, is going to threaten safety and the welfare of a child, what you're doing, you're setting a precedent that any child that isn't affirmed could be taken that's what abuse is, right?
Right.
So we are very concerned.
As you should be. This is the incrementalism of the left. They understand this. They get into a situation where families are vulnerable in custody disputes. But by changing the California Family Code, you're absolutely right. What this could do then, by changing these definitions of health, safety, and welfare of a child, they can then come back later and apply this more broadly. And families then are on the defensive to try to say, wait a minute, no, that's not the case. So it's this incremental approach that the left always uses on these measures. So what kind of resistance are we seeing?
Well, today we had a fairly large press conference right before the bill. Now, we are gathering all kinds of various groups. We were there promoting religious liberty, but Our Duty is another organization, Aaron Friday. She's been a Democrat for the last 25 years. She is not particularly conservative, but on this issue, she is fighting for parental rights because her own parental rights were violated. Her child was secretly transitioned at school, and when she called to the school to complain, they called CPS on her, and the sheriff showed up at her front door. Right? This is happening in California at an increasing rate. They believe if you don't affirm that you are actually threatening your child, because that child is going to automatically kill themselves, threaten suicide. Right. This is threatened to parents all the time. And now it's moving further into law.
So very quickly, Greg, we're up against a break, but what implications would this have for churches and maybe religious schools?
Well, just think about the First Amendment. It guarantees the right to exercise your freedom of religion. That means you could get to teach your own children about gender. And there are many religions, including Christianity, that says gender is determined by biology. So how is a parent supposed to affirm a child self-determined gender identity when their own belief system says, well, we can't do that? Really, it says Christianity, Islam, conservative Judaism, your views are a threat to children, and we are going to threaten you with removal of your children if you don't change your beliefs.
This is far, far reaching. People need to understand how significant this is. up against that break, Greg, but what do you anticipate? Will this bill come out of committee and onto the full Senate floor?
I expect it, it's probably being voted on right now. I expect it will pass, and then it will go on the full floor. The whole nation needs to speak up about this, because this is where it's all going, right? What starts here is going to spread to other states, and this is the hill we have to die on. We cannot let them take our kids. This is completely illegal. It violates the Constitution, and we need to speak up loud and clear that we are not going to allow this.
Greg, Burt, thanks so much for joining us. We'll continue to track this.
Thanks.